Cantwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, appreciate working together with you on many energy fronts, including quantum and Hanford cleanup. Mr. Dabbar, do you support the CHIPS and Science Act?
Yes, I've been on the record and testified in support of that when it was going through Congress.
So you believe in honoring the agreements that are in place with companies?
I'm not familiar with actual agreements underneath the CHIPS Act at the Commerce Department, but the president's
Generally, if you think we've signed an agreement with company and allocated resources, that we should fulfill them? Barring any major problems with them.
So Secretary Lutnick and the president have been very clear about how to take the resources under the CHIPS and Science Act and how to get the most bang for the buck for the taxpayer. And I think the president and the announcement, and Secretary Lutnick was just in Arizona on the announcement around TSMC moving from one fab for $65 billion of support to 3 fabs and $165 billion with no additional chip support. And so I think that's a great example of taking the CHIPS Act subsidies and support and how to get the most out of it within agreements. So I'm not familiar, for example, with all the TSMC agreements, but I think that's an excellent.
I have more questions. I actually saw Secretary Lutnick last night, and he was emphasizing how much he enjoyed being there. But I tell you this committee and the last administration got that done. Now, I'm glad you feel like you get to rearrange some of the chess pieces, but the President of the United States saying he's not for CHIPS and Science, and then all of us having to push back every damn day is nuts, okay? This is policy that we've implemented that will make the United States competitive. And so I just need to know that you're not gonna be another one of these people that is gonna make this harder for us. That's all we wanna know, okay? Will you commit to maintaining the NIST budget and the other R&D programs that are under the agency?
Sorry, that is actually, yes, I didn't know it's a question.
Thank you.
Sorry.
What about the money for the tech hubs?
Yes, I think as appropriated and authorized, I certainly know a bit about the tech hubs, but assuming it's funded and authorized.
Okay, what about moving marine fisheries out of NOAA and into Interior? Also a ridiculous idea, but.
So I only know what I read in the newspaper about different potential proposals. I do know that over time that various proposals have been made about NOAA, including last Congress, about separating it completely. So I would review any sort of proposal, given many's been made over the decades on NOAA.
I get this may not be one of your areas of expertise, but if you could bone up a little bit more on this for the record and give us an answer. The science that NOAA does helps us manage our fisheries. And right now, we're being taken advantage of by both the Chinese and the Russians. And so we don't want to be more disenabled at NOAA to advocate for our fisheries. My colleague from Alaska who's here probably has a thought on this, but we want to be more empowered to fight the injustices against the United States. We see a huge opportunity for the Department of Commerce to provide that leadership. You want to talk about a trade issue, talk about fisheries, and talk about the unfairness that's happening. But we need the science, and we need that agency to be complete on its R&D mission in NOAA. So what about the Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research that also is being proposed to be eliminated?
Well, just to address your first point, Senator, when I was Undersecretary for Science, we had a smaller than NOAA, but we did have a number of topics around fish and around atmospheric sciences. We had one plane rather than several. There's a bit of a history of that on nuclear weapons and so on. But the fish, as you know, Senator Cantwell, we had research in Washington State along the Columbia River that I helped run. SQUIM, which was another facility, and at Senator Blackburn's state at Oak Ridge on
okay, I have one more question to ask you. So I got that you have a little bit of, you'll come back to me on this point. So, yeah. But on the spectrum issue, the warfare of the future is in the skies, correct?
Sorry.
The warfare on the spectrum issue, the warfare of the future is in the skies, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, Senator.
Okay, and so we can't give away DoD assets that could have interference if that hurts our warfare capabilities for the future. Is that correct?
We absolutely need to be careful, and I do have a bit of a technical background in this, and I know there are many people working on how to use the spectrum from a technical point of view more efficiently. So in addition to just what the actual spectrum set aside is, but also how to manage it better from a
But
technical.
you don't believe in compromising DOD?
Oh, absolutely not, Senator.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.